person who did that meme on how our nails and our hair will fall apart during the quarantine, you win. Hands up. You know, this is how we are doing on quarantine. And of course, I'm also in the list of moms whose nannies left. Yeah, and so I am the new nanny, and I'm doing well. This will be the last. I wouldn't say I'm a pessimist, but one of the things I always help my clients think about is what is the worst case scenario. You know, what is the worst that can happen? And I know many people have been laid off, and many companies are actually closing down because whatever they are doing is not futuristic. And so probably they are reinventing how to do it. And right now, even as we are in the COVID situations, there are many meetings going on where companies are strategizing how they will do things when they come back. And that will mean a lot of things. The people are going to get serious promotions after this. The people who have already been laid off, and some people who will still be laid off when we go back. The reality is that there will be a lot of automation. Many businesses, many companies, many corporates, many organizations are actually consulting more on IT experts. If there is anyone who's making a kill right now, it is the IT consultants. Meaning that with the automation process, there'll still be more job losses. And of course, there will also be more promotions for those whose positions are indispensable, and I hope not from nepotism. Yeah, not to be a prophet of doom, but we still need to start thinking, if this is the worst case scenario, how can we start preparing? To just make sure that this one does not consume us, but it puts us in a better place. What are our chances? Where do we stand in all these transitions? One, prepare yourself for global opportunities. Everything will be uniform, including job opportunities. And so prepare yourself for international jobs. Why? Because everything will be online, meaning that you can get a job from anywhere as long as it is on competence basis. And like I said in my other video, it is also about specialization. You're not just using opportunities, you need to be a pro at something. And so please specialize, discover your giftings, leverage on your potential, look for your naturals. Remember the shape conversation. That is also another video I would want you to watch on my YouTube channel, Reconfidence with Paps, Reconfidence with Paps. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, go and watch a video I've done on monetizing your shape. Your spiritual gifts, your heart desires, your abilities, your personality, and of course your experiences in life. And if you've realized, nowadays many corporates are taking people through the profiling even before they interview you for the job. They just want to make sure that you're a good fit for their organization. And so be ready for the future, because the future will be ready for you. And so don't lose hope. There'll be a lot of opportunities that will come up online, but you need to have cut out your niche. Just know what you are tailored for. And one of the things I do as a purpose clarity coach is to help you discover that niche and work on it. And then probably when you're working now with a career advisor, they are able now to advise you on opportunities that are aligned to who you are. Why? Because those things resonate in the due course of work. Let me tell you, you can be hired for an opportunity and start a job, but along the way, the wear and tear and the exhaustion and the burnouts comes from misalignment, because sometimes you have a job that doesn't align to who you are, and that is very important. Make sure that the opportunity you get will be a stepping stone to many more opportunities, but not an opportunity that will backfire on you because you're not cut out for it, or you're not resilient enough to put up with it. Because like I said in my video, which is before this one, please go to my YouTube channel and just watch the videos I've done lately, and then you'll be able to get the drift of this conversation. And on the video, I've actually said that in future the work will be intense. It will be very intense, meaning that if what I am doing is not aligned to who I am, I'll probably end up in a mental health situation, and of course I would want to do something that I feel like I'm waking up to play every day. So you look for a job that is aligned to who you are. First of all, because even by showing up on the interviews, you are a natural at it. And number two, you will be competent in it. And number three, there'll be a lot of growth opportunities for you to even go to the next level, because that is your natural space. I have done jobs that were not an expression of who I am. So when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about it so passionately. I've done jobs and Sometimes I feel like I've wasted many years, but also when I look back with the work I do right now, everything was an opportunity. It was an investment, and having been in jobs that are not fit to who I am, they were not an expression of my personality, my giftings, my strengths, and also my abilities. Sometimes I had things that I was really struggling to do. I really glad that right now I'm able to do what I love doing. And I can do this for the rest of my life. Yeah, it's just fulfilling in itself. And I'm praying that all of us can come to that place in the future of work, because fulfillment will be big. It will be a big deal. With the issue of wealth redistribution, now wealth is actually changing hands through relevance and of course through new opportunities that are coming up. And right now there's a lot of transactions happening. As much as we are on quarantine, money is moving hands, and it's important for you to realize that you are part of those who will access that wealth. The only thing you need to know is that the internal resources that you can put out here and use to create wealth. And of course, one of the greatest things you have in this process of wealth redistribution is yourself. You are the greatest asset you have that you'll take out there and find a place where wealth can be distributed to you too. And how you offer and package yourself is also a process for you to come to this place where you are discovering yourself, and you are also building new strengths that you never even knew existed. And I'm so glad when I hear some of my friends and clients who are taking up new training opportunities, to just realign to the future. People who are watching a lot of things that are aligned with where they want to go. We're learning by immersion, because sometimes we may not have the money to pay for courses online. Probably you're not these people who are very good and disciplined in doing online trainings, or you're not in a class setup, but you can immerse yourself into things that you want to learn. Just ask yourself, what is the top skill I need to work in on my life as I think about the future? And if you don't have clarity on that, I am here. Let's talk. Affordability and accessibility for consumers. And guess what? One of the most interesting things I've discovered in this research is that the future clients are actually the children. Those are the ones who are being targeted a lot. And I've noticed something interesting by just staying at home. With the change of the COVID situation, there's some channels which have strategically cancelled all their morning normal programs. The program children. And why? It's because children makes parents, especially the millennial parents, buy even what they don't need. The adverts that are done are catchy to children as well. The children are the ones who remember the songs. They identify the brands when you go shopping with them. Yeah, that is a good reason why some parents don't like go shopping with the children. Caught you? Yeah, and Gen Z, the iGen, will be the most influential clients in the future. The iGen, those are the children who have been born from up to now. Those will be the most many consumer-based looking to sell to. And of course, the real post-COVID is innovation and invention of products. Actually, we will see an outburst of new opportunities, new innovations. Yeah, right now people are on quarantine, but there are some people who are on quarantine with a creative attitude, and they are just inventing things. There will be new apps that we've never thought about. One of the greatest in communication costs, meaning all the telecoms, we have seen this happening in our day and age. The communication costs have really gone down. Do you remember the first phone you bought? Do you remember the first SIM card that was available? It was 2,000. The cost of trading will really diminish, because if everything is going online, then the needs for offices and big complexes and a huge staff workforce will actually decline. And when you look at this amazing fridge that is on test basis, where this fridge is so intelligent, it will be able to combine the ingredients that you put, give it the menu in terms of what you want to prepare, and then input the ingredient. All those ingredients are available. If there's something missing, this fridge is able to, it has a credit card, it's able to dial to your local store, order stuff according to how you have configured it, and have everything delivered to your doorstep. How about that? I thought those things would happen when I'm an ancestor, but seems like I might be around at this rate. Yeah, we are down. We need to stay on the hope side. Okay? will just keep on opening all over. And that is why if you have a business niche, this is a good time to just keep on being resilient and putting your business out there, especially if you're selling utilities. That is one thing that will never go out of fashion. You just need to keep on putting it out there. Make sure that you have more speed, you have more value, and of course you have a better cost, cost efficiency. Look at how in my other video is that there will be such a huge social divide. The ones who are getting low pays will get really low pays, and the ones who are getting high pays will actually get really high pays. The people who might survive the income, and they're just doing general labor, because that might actually be a place where that is all they will ever do until they retire, because it's a general labor kind of a job. And of course, they'll keep on feeling the injustices of younger people coming in and earning more than them. They will feel the injustices out. Then it means that you can work anywhere and you can survive in any environment. Just make sure that you have full realization of what is your capability and capacity, and then polish on it, work on it, package it nicely, and get it out there. Someone needs it. Being an innovator, how can you improve what is already existing to make it more efficient, to make it faster, to make it cheaper, and of course to make it work better? Innovators, stakeholders, and investors will be the people who will be earning the most in future. So the three places where you can position yourself strategically. Either you are an innovator, you are improving something and making it better, bigger, brighter, or you are a stakeholder, meaning that you have interest in those places that are growing. You're one of the decision makers, you're influencer, and you can be able to actually participate and put your ideas on the table and get paid for it. And sometimes also bring yourself as a resource into those spaces. And number 3 is you are an investor. You are putting in a lot of money into projects and things that are futuristic. Those are the 3 places where you can make a kill in future. Is already on social media. I know that is low, but it's also very high. When you just think about the rapidness of what has changed in this season of the pandemic, many people are onboarding social media, many people are onboarding the digital space to just get ready for the future. Census was that 50% of the population is the younger generation. And of course, a bigger population of this, maybe 20% or more, might be younger children who are not fully on social media and probably they don't understand this space. So this 30% should not fool you. It's actually something substantial. Globally are accessing this where they're able to do things for themselves comfortably. Pay many things, that they would have paid for dearly. Yeah, sometimes you see that just those informative videos where people just come online and they ask for information and people just freely keep on sharing and advising and letting them know what they can do. So you can also see there's free consultancy. Nowadays you don't have to pay a consultant for every little, and you realize, wow, this is mind-blowing. People have ideas are available on social media. Nowadays you don't have to go out there, you don't have to do anything, to just meet the high and the mighty. Yeah, people are even getting strategic connections with celebrities through the work they do. Like I remember several people are big things focused on celebrities and they got their attention. Someone sang a song, another one painted, another one tailored something with their name and then sent it to them, and then they became a divine connection and amazing opportunities opened up. And so the opportunities on social media are limitless. Multi-million kind of ventures through social media. And so we cannot underestimate the power of 30%. If that is what was working in 2018, this is 2 years later. COVID situation forcing us to onboard online more. You never know. Maybe we'll get out of this and we might be at the 70% instead of the 30%. Who knows? Deliver value with more speed, with a better cost, and also with a higher quality, because those are opportunities that will never go out of demand. If I can be able to deliver value first and being the cheapest and being the the best. You'll never run out of value. You'll never run out of business if that is what you are selling. Whether you're in business or professional, is being dynamic. It is being dynamic and flexible to new dynamic environments that will keep on coming up. The change will be head spinning, and that is why we are with confidence. Please reach out if you're struggling with confidence in new opportunities, in new places, and sometimes you're even feeling stuck because of lack of confidence. You're just feeling this is not familiar. Please reach out. I'm here to support you, and also to become more adaptive. Thing to survive. Everyone will be required to adapt to survive. So adaptability will be the only way to survival. Competitive world. Bottlenecks, and the other thing to also lessen the boardroom meetings and meet in the workspaces, so that they are saving times and increasing speeds. Which had brilliant ideas, and they kept on shelving them. Bottlenecks, this is not a priority for now, blah blah blah, and they lost it. And others who had more speed took it and ran with it, and right now they are further ahead. Actually relevant to remain on top of things. Never get tired of learning and just discovering more and more and more about yourself as you go into the future. Don't fear evolving and growing, because growth is the only permanent thing. What we do, but it's also changing who we are. Just think about this. Who we are online is not the same person we are offline, and sometimes even when we are offline, because we are thinking about online, when we are offline, sometimes we're thinking about online until we're not able to be ourselves even offline. I hope that is not confusing, but sometimes I also struggle with that, in terms of finding myself rehearsing for my online time. Even when I'm offline, the pictures I want to take, the things I want to do, and sometimes that is part of actually identity crisis, where I am losing who I really am. And sometimes I even feel miserable for not being that person that is online, and I'm this person who is offline, which is my real identity, and the other one is my ideal identity. And so identity crisis is a big deal in this time and age. And the fourth industrial revolution will only make it worse if we are not also working at being ourselves, and being true to who we are. The things I want to display about myself, about who I am, about what I have, and sometimes realizing that this is not actually true. The other thing that is also being affected is our privacy. Nowadays, we no longer have privacy. You just share something friendly with a person, you're even telling them it's a secret, and then the next thing you are trending. Privacy just went out of the window. And then the thing that has also changed to the industrial revolution, the other thing that has also changed is ownership. With technology nowadays, you basically almost don't own a thing. Like people have written amazing posts. Just think about this. You have been in a group where you have received amazing posts and you don't know where they are from, because that person who owns that has not been credited. I don't know, plagiarism is a big deal in this time and age. And the other thing is also people just not knowing the source of things. All the memes you keep on laughing about, do you know those people? And sometimes it's even the person who has shared it around and probably credited themselves, not the original owner. And so this sense of ownership is also being lost. Those are some of the things we are losing, where I'm talking about. We're not just losing in what we do, but also in who we are. And of course, the thing that is being affected is our lifestyle. How we are doing things is different. Our priorities are different because of technology. Those times of going and sitting under the tree and children playing outside, fast disappearing. The other things that are also affected is our lifestyle, our perception, how we use our time. Our skill and career development is also changing rapidly, and I've already discussed that I've already discussed that a while ago. Our socialization is changing, and of course our relationships. Like technology is changing everything about us, and it's not just about what we do, but who we are. And of course, there's also the aspect of human augmentation, where we are now starting to see new sickness. Like whatever is happening right now is totally new. COVID-19, nobody would even have imagined it. And here it is with us and staying on and just devastating the nations that are strongest. It's amazing, because these are implications of the fourth industrial revolution as well. And of course, it is providing a lot of health threats and also health benefits, because so many inventions and innovations will come out of this that will even be more effective in curing other illnesses that are not even related to this. And so with every crisis, there is always something good that comes out of it. The other thing that also is affecting our lives with the technology is diminished capacity. We have poorer concentration, we have poorer relationships, because we are just sucked in the online space. And sometimes you're not even listening to the person who is next to you, because you are listening to someone who is miles away and you don't even know their name and you don't even know who they are. You really care about their opinions. Sometimes you're upset because of something you saw online and it's affecting the people who are seated right next to you. Haven't you become terrible sometimes? I have. Our productivity has really sometimes declined and sometimes increased because of being online. I know myself, and at one point when my daughter was really young, that was around 2015, my productivity had gone to nil. I'll just sit on the couch and just slack, cyber slacking. I'll just scroll down from morning to evening. No utensils washed, the baby is on exclusive breastfeeding, so there's nothing to cook and prepare. I can take my tea and bread the whole day. Yeah, I was that person. And I know for sure social media can really, really, really diminish our productivity. It can also diminish our compassion. How many times have you read something and you are compassionate, and then you read the comments and you changed your mind, put your compassion back to the pocket? You're like, no, you are actually what everyone else is saying here. Our compassion has diminished. Our cooperation has also diminished. We are no longer people who are just bundled up and easy to get along with. Because of social media, we want to be on the popular side. And so sometimes even in cooperation on basic things, we still struggle. The other thing that has happened is loss of time to reflect. We're no longer stopping to think. And if you think about it, COVID has given us plenty of time to do that. Whether you are on the highest position or you're in the lowest position, everyone right now has enough time to think. Whoever was busy is now hands-free. Some of us had a roller coaster of a life, and right now we have nothing. And this is a good opportunity to think, because that is one of the things we have lost. Those are some of the senses we have lost. Over time, we are no longer thinking. We're just doing and living day by day. We're not even thinking about the consequences of our not thinking. Yeah, because sometimes our not thinking really, really affects us and affects other people. And so there's a good time to just pause, slow down, reflect, and do things better. And of course, the other thing it had also denied us is recovery. The other thing it had denied us is disengagement to just recover. When was the last time you retreated? Like you really switched off everything and just left town, left people, probably even switched off your phone, switched off all technology, just disengaged so that you can recover. Sometimes your soul needs recovery. Being online all the time can sometimes desolate your soul. You can be in a crowd and you are all alone. And that is where and I believe that has been the most common sources of our depression. Because we never stop to recover. Our emotions need to recover, our thoughts need to recover, and even our willpower needs to recover, from just having to make decisions all the time. Sometimes we just need to pause down, come to a place of, of a stop, and just recover first. And then after we've recovered, we come back and do life. That is how we'll be able to diminish the emotional overwhelms, that we are experiencing all over. And of course, this will be a big deal in future, because like I said in the previous video, work will be more intense. It will require more specialization, more skill, more creativity. That demand actually needs someone who is sober and someone who is energized and someone who is fully recovered and fully present. And so some of the things we can actually do is to learn to guide technology. Just realize that I am the consumer and I need to guide it to increase my productivity. I need to guide it to increase my efficiency. I need to guide it to increase my powers and prowess. But it doesn't have to guide me and decline and cause me decline in my humanity. Yeah, and this issue about guiding is a daily decision of asking ourselves, how is it controlling me in a destructive way? Even as you think about yourself in quarantine, how is it guiding you? Is social media guiding you in a positive way or in a negative way? Just thinking about the places you go. What is it doing to who you are? Is it energizing your soul in a way that if you go back to life today, you are more productive, you are more whole, you are more recovered? Or are you in a worse place? So you'll go back more anxious and more afraid, and of course, more helpless and feeling out of control. Yeah, it's good to assess ourselves in those places. And of course, before you guide it, it's good for us to do some stock take and ask yourself, if I do an assessment of my life, how has social media and even the social spaces and everything influenced me? Yeah, to just take some time and review, how has technology affected me? How has it shaped my thought process? How has it shaped, my actions, my behavior, my character, the outcomes of my life? If you actually can do it in bulk, are you able to see where you are losing it? And most importantly, are you able to see yourself as someone who is powerful and someone who is able to actually mitigate that space and take charge of it? Yeah, because it's important to realize that you're still powerful. And in order for you to come to a place where you're thinking more of being someone who will be disruptive to technology and someone who will disrupt the technological space, and as you think about the future of work and thinking about and as you think of yourself about someone who is going to live in a disruptive and an innovative future, you also need to learn to disrupt yourself and innovate yourself. Learn to create a disruptive environment around yourself. Learn to disrupt things so that when there is a disruption, it doesn't bring you to a halt, because you're already used to creating such patterns in your life. And so you also embrace this pattern and you do what you normally do in your normal disruptive episodes. And you do what you need to do in your normal disruptive moments. And then, of course, innovate. To just keep on thinking of different ways of doing it. And that is why when you have been rehearsing this offline, even when you come to the plug and this is life happening to you, you're still able to stay in control. Because I'm used to this. I've ever seen this before and I've ever dealt with this before. It doesn't become a crisis point for you because it's not totally new to you. Get it? Another thing that we must never leave behind is values. I know this is a whole big deal, especially in the globalization conversation. And I know right now we think like, I'm not an African, I'm a global citizen. But guess what? Even in the global village, every house has its own rules. And you know what? What has been keeping us Africans and even what has been keeping us Africans and our values, even as millennials, it is still the same thing that protects us. Those norms, and those norms and sometimes some things that look like taboos. Of course, I know Africa has the dark side and the dark black side of its culture that I also don't subscribe to. But there are also many, many, many things that I like about our culture. And those are things I would want to onboard on the global space. I remember around last month, that was on February. Yeah, I remember around a month ago, we had an opportunity to be part of the UNESCO conversation of the future of education, and I was in one of the focus groups. And as we were having these conversations, I think it just dawned on me. I would want my generations to carry their language. I would want my generations to carry their foods, their clothes, some of their mannerisms, and of course some of their values. And the values that I learned, like those are things I would want to pass on intentionally so that my children, even in the global space and their generations, will not lose that. Wow, I know the language bit will be really tricky to just teach them our mother tongue. But I've also started admiring friends who are actually doing that intentionally. Yeah, no offense intended if that is not your thing. But for me, when I was just thinking about the future of education and the implications of it, and we were thinking about 2050, what will have changed? And I was like, wow, my son will be 32 and my daughter will be 37. What kind of people will they have become? Just think about your end too. What would you want to see? Whereby we are a global village, but everyone is still who they are and they are proud of who they are, because confidence comes from there. Yeah. And so my duty will be to keep on emphasizing on values. Why? It's because I would not want my children to be robotized, because anyone who will not have value in this future of work and everything, they'll just be robots. And they'll also make robots that look like themselves. If there'll be robots in their houses, I would want those robots to be... If there'll be robots in their house, I envision those robots being compassionate, being kind, being funny, and of course, being honest, being compassionate. And I don't even mind robots which are born again in their houses, robots that can sing worship. I don't mind. I would want my children's future to envision who they are and not what everyone else is. I would want them to carry their heart and their soul into the future. And these are things that we can keep on doing deliberately by instilling values, because these values will be the reflections of who they become. And so I hope this conversation was helpful to just help you think about the future and to start to just I hope this conversation was helpful. I know it doesn't have all the answers, but it's supposed to trigger you to start thinking about the future and probably doing more research for yourself. It's not everything that I have said that is, no, don't discredit your video. Do more research, study more, and of course, live it out more and prepare more. My name is Paps Wanyugi, your partner in creating the life you desire and deserve. My name is Paps Wanyugi, and I'm your partner in creating the life you desire and deserve. Subscribe, share with your friends, and keep it here for more amazing content coming up for African millennials. Ciao.